Okay, once again, welcome to the 2023 to 2024 Senior Class Office Forums. So, let me explain to you guys the rules and how this works. Basically, you guys are going to be given questions. Some questions are going to be for each and every position, and other questions are going to be specific to the position that you're running for. And you answer these questions to the best of your abilities. After the question is asked, you guys have a 1 minute time period where you guys are able to think about your answer. And then each participant or candidate will be able to give their answer or present it to everyone in 1 minute. After that minute is over, you may not answer any more of the question. Questions, comments, or concerns? So now it's time to introduce yourselves. Name and position you are running for. Can we have the president candidate introduce name and grade? Oh wait, no, not name and position you're running for.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm running for president.
Okay, how about our vice president candidate?
I'm Alexis and I'm running for vice president.
Secretary? Secretaries. Anyway, just go.
Melanie. I'm Melanie and I'm running for secretary.
I'm Vincent and I'm running for secretary too.
Treasurer?
I'm Kira and I'm running for treasurer.
And okay, that is it. Now we're gonna start with our first question. So, to everyone, what are ideas you would like to implement this school year for your class? Okay, 1 minute is up, and can I have the treasurer candidate answer this question first?
So I think it would be a cool idea if we had like a class Discord server, because we would be able to like have a place where we could communicate with different people in our class, and it would be like a community space for everyone to like talk to each other outside of like a in-person setting, because I know our class is kind of like antisocial. And yeah, I know that class of 25 has one, so I think doing something similar would be good for our class.
Okay, thank you. Can I have one of our secretaries go? Anyone can just start.
I was thinking maybe like implementing their ideas and like making them come true. So I was maybe like a class bonding. I know we have like our senior sunrise and stuff, but maybe having different activities, not just those that we like regularly do like on like traditions that we have, but maybe like movies and stuff like that where it's like honestly like bonding and like where everybody could come together and we could like plan out different things to do to make like this year memorable. And I like to agree with what Kira said too. Like I think Discord is like pretty neat as well. It's a good way like of communicating, and I think that's like important for our class too. It's like getting to hear what everybody thinks. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can our other secretary candidate?
Yeah. I do agree, although not only Discord, but like what Kira and Melanie have said, we should have an online communication group. Like it doesn't have to be Discord, but I do think it's much quicker. And in case there's something that's like any fault or miscommunication, you can quickly correct it in case we can't have a physical meeting. Also, I think depending on the time, like it's what's popular and what's trending can like sort of have the senior can like appeal to certain seniors during certain times, because eventually things are gonna die out and they'll get bored of it. So we should have like we should definitely go fundraising first so that we can pay for those events. But then we should have trendy and like new and unique.
Okay, your time's up. Sorry.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, and can we have our vice president candidate answer this question?
Okay, although it's not like specialty to my position, I do believe that fundraisers are very important, but so is class bonding. So I feel like it would be really cool if we could put those two things together by hosting fundraisers where people can bond, whether that's like movie nights or arts and crafts all together.
Okay, thank you. And can we now have our president candidate answer this question?
I am going to add on to Lexi because I know like a number one thing that we have to focus on would be fundraisers because a lot of our events require money and we don't have a lot of that. And like Lexi said, like we need a lot of bonding. So I have like like I have good ideas, or not good. I just have ideas on how we can do that because I know like boba fundraisers are like a hit or miss because sometimes like the weather doesn't agree or people don't buy it. So great ideas I was like thinking of is one, like yeah, the movie night, because when we do have air bands, I feel like a lot of people don't really watch the movies too much. So we do have like the painting room that we use this year, and I feel like it's a great place to have a movie night where people can come in to watch before air bands. And another one would be like some tournaments. Like I was thinking of like a grass volleyball tournament where like people from our class or even other classes, they would sign up to make a team with an admission fee, and then they would compete it with like against each other, and then like the winner would get a prize. And I think like
Okay,
that's a
thank you. Time's up. But great answers, everyone. Okay, next question. Have you ever been involved in your class this year? If not, why? Okay, 1 minute is up. And can we start with our secretary candidate? One of you guys.
Yeah. So yes, I've been involved this year. I'm currently our class secretary. For our sophomore year, I wasn't part of class office, but I know for sure going to paint for airband. I would like to include that I didn't do leadership this year, but I didn't let that scheduling get in the way. Um, this year was hectic in such a good way. We did so much as our class. I was able to adjust and help my class so much. I think everything we did it. We tried our best to give it our 100, and I think like that we're slowly going up and gaining our class's confidence to prepare for next year. And I think this is such a good move we're doing, as well as the people around me. I'd like to like they're the ones who help you like what you're doing a lot, especially like getting involved with our class. Like I would like to throw out for our BOTC, we had a tournament for football and our class was so hyped, and it's what encouraged me and lightened me up to continue doing what I like to do best.
Okay, time's up. Thank you. Can we have our other secretary candidate go?
I've been more involved this year because I really liked how my sophomore year went, and I I've tried more or less like getting more leadership roles, and right now I'm the chamber music club secretary, and I've tried getting other roles. I'll try getting another role to get more experience and have more involvement in our uh our school.
Okay, thank you. Can we have our president candidate answer this question next?
a moment. Okay. So I would say this year I was definitely involved. Even though like I stopped doing office this year because I wanted a break after doing it the last 2 years, I still wanted to be involved and help out. I just didn't, I kind of needed a break from being a part of like setup and like the mixtape and everything, but I still wanted to try to be involved because I know that it's really important to like because even though our class doesn't have a lot of hype and stuff, when you give out a good performance when it comes to like airband or like football or like rowdy rough anything like that, like you need to give all your effort in and give up a good show because that's what is going to help hype up the class. And without that, like without help like starting with that, like you're not going to get a lot of encouragement from like the rest of the audience. So I feel like an important thing for me like was still being involved because I know that I'm able to put in my effort and try my best to entertain our class. So
Okay, thank you. Can we have our vice president candidate answer this question?
Um, so I've been pretty involved in our class this year, whether that's like behind the scenes or performing. I'm in both of those things. I'm currently the vice president of the juniors, and I also participate in a club called MBC. And I have been in all the air bands, and almost all the posters I have drawn them. So
Thank you. Can we have our treasurer candidate answer this question next?
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty involved because I'm one of our class historians this year, and so yeah, I make flyers for our class Instagram all the time, and behind the scenes, I've started to do more for specifically our class because I only started being historian this semester, but I haven't done too much in that area. But outside of our class, I do a lot of setup for like other general events like ASB dances and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna create a new meeting. I will send it in this chat and you guys can join it because we are out of time. We have like 5 minutes left. Trina, you can ask the question.
Okay, so the next question is, why did you choose to run for your specific position? Can we just have the president down to like the order: president, vice president, treasurer, and then secretary, please?
Okay, so the reason I chose to do president was because the first 2 years I did vice president, and I think and with that experience I like know the details on how to get things done, and I also think that I was in a position for the first 2 years where I had to kind of step up and give instructions due to some reasons. But this year, after also witnessing, because I was involved, I also got to see like everything in the background for some of the aspects of our events. And I feel like the only position that I would think that to do next year would be president, because I feel like with the experience and with the background and with the knowledge of what I know that we have to improve of, I think I would be able to fill up that role. Also, as well as I think I'd be able to give instructions and help everybody out in a way where everybody can work together and have a good experience as well.
Okay, sounds good. Can we have vice president answer the next question, please?
I chose to run for vice president because I believe that the vice president also shares some of the roles that the president takes on. And I believe that when the president is not able to come through at times, I will be able to take over because I believe that I have the qualities to lead as well.
Can we have any secretary or answer the next question?
Yeah, so I think I'm a good fit for this position because of my past experience, especially watching our class grow and come together has made me be like excited and see this progress for our future achievements and improvements, as well as the teamwork that we hold in class office. We do our best to try to get things done. Might be late, it might be soon, but we do our best to see this improvement. And especially this year, since it was my first year in class office, I learned a lot, and I think I would prepare myself for the near future. And as much for my role, I think I'm able to, like, what's the word, like, adapt to any role and anything I'd have to do.
Can Vincent answer the next question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wanted to run for secretary because I wanted to challenge myself as the student ASB role instead of only a board member as a club. So I wanted to choose specifically secretary because I want to excel and exercise my current skills for secretary, and I also want to help our senior class, not like the president or treasurer, but I want to make a change and recommend anything that the students might want like any ideas that they propose, I'd like to propose that to the board and the cabinet. So that way our people in our senior class is not gonna have a bad school year. So,
Okay, sounds good. Can we have Kira answer the next question, please?
So I'm choosing to run for treasurer because I think that arguably the treasurer is going to have the most important role for our senior year because our class honestly doesn't have a lot of money and we'll have a lot of activities that we need to like pay for next year because it's our senior year and we have like senior sunrise, prom, and like other senior specific activities. And we would just, the goal is to really just go all out for those things. And I think that like I can meet that challenge of like trying to like get us enough money for fundraisers so that we can really have a good experience with our activities next year.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to steer in a different direction, but I was gonna ask like a follow-up question. I'm sure they all answered it in their applications already, but like what ways are, or like since most of the people are returning people or people with prior experience, I want to know what are some ways you want to build off what we've already have or like change something that you see as a current problem. And if you're not sure, or if you're someone like I think Vincent who is not or isn't in that category, you can list at least like 1 or 2 ideas of something to maybe motivate our class into participating, I guess. Yeah, anyone? Yeah.
Did you specify like, is this question like towards like us class office or like what we want to see for our class of 2024?
Yeah, I since most of you, like I'd say 4 of you, right, out of 5 already have prior experience and like know how class office like worked this year. I just want to hear some like ideas about what you guys think are ways to like improve and like change up what happened this year already, if you know what I mean.
I want to elaborate on that. I feel like all the class officers who do have experience, like if you've been in class office, I want your answers should specifically pertain to improvements within the team. Plus, and then after that, it should be improvements with like class office as general, like what you guys are doing. But as for Vincent, since you haven't been in class office yet, your answers can just be more general and how you would improve your class spirit and class office and what you guys do. But yeah, anyone can go.
I'll go. I feel like this is also not just like a this year's problem, like it did occur this year, but this is also something that I saw in the previous first 2 years, something that I was also guilty of like being responsible for as well. But I feel like a main problem that we've faced every year in office would be procrastination. Definitely for our air bands, we've had like I'd say like the first 2 years we definitely struggled with like getting our mixtape done, getting the script done, or even picking out like certain songs for like Christmas air band. Like that has been a huge problem the first years when it came to turning things in on time. And then for this year, I feel like it was also a big struggle. Like for VOTC, I think we had like a couple months prior to work on it, but we did only get to work on it the last like couple weeks instead. And I am grateful that like we were able to pull it off and give a performance that I was happy with just because it was really fun to work with everybody. But it was a big problem that we barely had enough time to get the props that we were proud of or stuff like that.
Time's up. Thank you.
I just want to cut in for a while. Vincent, since you're relatively new to what happened, I would take this opportunity to just understand more about your class office, because if you were elected, this is the things that you have to deal with. So yeah, just take it as an opportunity to understand more about our class. And then the next person, whoever has their answer, could go next.
I'd like to add. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
Okay,
It's
I'd
okay.
like to add on what Kate said, and I completely agree as well. I think our main focus this year, since it's our last year and we want to make it memorable and stay on top of our A game, and also connect our class together and make the most we can out of it, I'd say prioritize communication, planning better, and a lot of comprehension. Because with communication, you're just explaining and you're telling the person like, oh, this is what we need to do, this has to be done. But also comprehension, meaning we need people to understand, like, like these are deadlines, we need to get them done. Like the sooner we get something done, it's like a relief in a way. It's like, okay, we have this done, we could work on this for our future events, we could start planning this, thinking of all these things to make. There was a lot of like, personally, a lot of like stress and tension, but I came to realization that communicating is really important, as
Okay,
well as
thank you.
oh,
Okay, we have Vincent go since Melanie just went.
Yeah. Uh, so I try to have some transparency, and I want to have increased promotion. Like, there's already announcements, there's already posters. I think we should like amp up those posters, and because I'm not at all experienced with class office. Like, I don't know the actual class office because I'm not an officer, a current officer. But I'd like to have ideas that would cater more to our class, that would be more um, favored by them, and like ideas based off of their what they propose.
Okay, thank you. Could we have our treasurer candidate go next?
Um, yeah, so I agree with what everyone else has said that like I think we need to be better with our communication because I think a problem this year was that not all of us are in the leadership class. So like we some of us like we have a conversation and some of us just don't know because we weren't there and like just simple things like that. And also like the procrastination thing, like I feel like we just need to simply talk more so that we can get a jump start on all of our things so that they can be better, like specifically airband. Like I know that when we start earlier, like we have more time to like refine things and like make the performance like actually good and entertaining and things like that. And also, like Vincent said, like if we start earlier, we can also have more time to like ramp up the anticipation for our events, like through social media and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. And could we have our vice president candidate answer?
Um, I mean, KML's basically said most of it, but I'd like to add on that I think making lists to get what we need to get done is very important because I feel like in the class office, although we have specific roles, it's still a team effort at the end of the day. And so instead of waiting for the president or vice president to take initiative and tell everyone what to do, making a list could be effective so that everyone could just do their part that way.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for everyone for answering. Can you go to the next question, Amanda? Or is
Thank
there
you. Okay, our next question is what kind of legacy do you want to leave here at school? Everyone gets 1 minute to think and then we'll start. Okay, time's up. Can we have our treasurer candidate go first?
I think generally I would just like to leave like a positive impact and like set a good example for like underclassmen trying to like fill these positions and yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can we have one of our secretary candidates go?
Uh, I I'd want to leave my legacy, not really just a legacy, but I just want people, all of the senior classes, to come back, uh, look at their fond memories, see how they saw their last year here at Independence. Like, oh, I really like this. No other school could have been like this. This have this sort of nostalgia effect And it doesn't really have to be just ASB, but it's the whole school experience based on making the more accepting and friendly to all types, no matter the type of senior, but more friendly to all of them. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can we have our other secretary? Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with Vincent, and I'd like to add memories, especially dedication of our hard work, like pretty much like the behind the scenes, like we're putting so much work in so that not only we enjoy and see them have so much fun, but like them enjoying it and talking about it and wanting to go and visit the school, for example. And I'd say making us like an accepting community that like no matter like who you are, what you think, let us know like your thoughts, like having like a safe place like within their class. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can we have our vice president candidate answer this question next?
The legacy that I'd like to leave at school is to be known as someone who was highly involved and has lots of school spirit. Not only that, but I would also like to inspire others, like if they're rewatching videos of air bands or people in clubs, like I would want to participate in that and let that be the reason why they would like to participate the following school years.
Thank you. Can we have our president candidate answer this next?
The legacy I would want to leave, it wouldn't be something like specifically pertaining to me. It would be something about our class. Like because our class doesn't necessarily have the most spirit, that's like a big motivation for me to want like for us to really do good this year because or next year because I want like the legacy I want it would be like, oh my God, like did you know class of 2024 like did this and did that? Like it's like because people don't really expect our class to do that well, I want to be able to go like do so well that people are surprised by how much we're capable of doing, especially if we work together. And like also when it comes to like fundraisers, like I want like creative fundraisers, like the volleyball tournament thing. Like I don't think necessarily a class has done that for independence that I can think of. So I want people to be like, oh my God, like did you know like class of 2024, they had like a tournament and like I just want people to be thinking about our class, not in a negative way where we don't have a lot of spirit, but in a positive way where it's like we really stepped up for our senior year.
Okay, thank you. Katrina.
The next question. You are now part of your class office or scenario, and there was a conflict between with your other class officers. How do you plan on approaching this problem or solving the conflict? Okay, time's up, everyone. Can we have start with the president, please?
If there is a time that there is conflict between like officers, like it sounds so simple, but like the one thing I can think of is just talking it out. Because I feel like also it's not just like when it happens. I also want to be able to prevent things like that from happening because even like in my experience in the first years, like we had a lot of trouble when it comes to communicating and when it came to like bonding because we focused more on getting things done rather than trying to communicate with each other. So like to fix that, it'd be like if there we had to come up with ideas, we would do it together. We'd always ask each other for each other's like opinions. And like if there ever was a time where we're really having a big conflict where like there's drama or anything, I'd want us to talk about it and like I want us to talk about it as a group before we involve like asking for help or like not asking for help, but like asking like our advisors or getting like Logan involved. Like I want us to be able to talk to each other first and see if we can work it out before anything.
Thank you for your answer. Can we have vice president, please?
If there was a conflict between class officers, I feel like instead of approaching the problem right away, like if I'm involved in the problem, I would think of a way to solve it on my own at first and then approaching it instead of doing it while everyone's still heated. But honestly, like what Kate was saying, I feel like most of the problems lie within miscommunication. So really the way to go is to talk it out.
Okay, can we have our vice treasurer?
If there was some conflict between people in our cabinet, I think also I would just try to like have a normal conversation about it without like getting, everyone upset again. I think also like Alexis said, like waiting a bit can help like diffuse the situation and like everyone can have their time to think about what happened and like just calm down in general. Um, I think also that like in these situations, like everyone in the cabinet should be like mature enough to understand that we do need to get over it if something like this happens because we have a job to do and like our collaboration is like very important to that job. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Can we have one of the secretaries, please?
Yeah. I think that regardless of if I was a part of that conflict or I was a third party in that meeting, I'd say act as a compromiser, reflect on what each person said, and try to be the median that will unite all the ideas together that satisfies both sides. Either if I was a part of the conflict or it's just two other sides. And I'd say try to emphasize that we're a team and that you have to make an example for our class, or else there will be underlying conflict throughout the year if you never solve it and you're just bitter.
Thank you for your answer.
So recently something like this has happened to me, and I'd say communicating is really important, just like everyone's saying. But I'd also say there's some things that are out of my control, and as much as I'd like to like personally like talk to the person, I like to keep it like a professional connection with our class officers. So what I did in my experience is I talked it out in front of an advisor. It was just me and the person. We talked about our improvements and things we could do to better the situation. And I think honestly, it helped a lot. And it removed a lot of intimidation and tension that was here in like the circle, especially because we're such like we work with each other throughout the whole year that I feel like it's really important and necessary to build a connection and a bond with us class officers, since we have to work with each other no matter what, and all our ideas and whatever we say, we want to be heard and seen so that we can let out some positivity out to our class. So whatever goes on inside, we want to make sure that it's the best so we could like reflect that energy out into everybody. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this question is specifically for the president's candidate. What is your personal definition of a leader? What qualities do you exemplify that will allow you to do your best for your class? Your 1 minute starts now.
For a leader, I feel like it's not like it's definitely not just a person who like just divides the work, tells people to do. Like I feel like it's and also like it's not someone that would do all the work. I feel like a leader would be someone who is able to work with everybody and guide everybody who needs help, like especially if you're new or don't have experience or don't know how to do a specific thing. I feel like I'm able to be a leader and tell people like, oh, how to do it and help them. Like it's not just like giving directions. And also like I can't just tell people what to do if I think that like not everybody would agree. Like I want everybody to be able to agree, and I want everybody to know what they're doing as well, because like if someone doesn't know what they're doing and they don't think they can talk to me, then we're not going to get the best results and we're just going to be behind again. So I feel like because I know how like important it is to stay on task, like I want to be able to help people who are needing trouble. And if someone is like purposely like procrastinating, I want to be able to talk to them and have them understand the perspective on what it's like to be behind and the consequences that would happen if we are behind. Because I want everyone to have a good experience, not just for me or the class.
Okay, thank you. And next will be our vice president candidate. Can you read that for us, Katrina?
Yeah. So, the question is, how do you plan on leading the class? What vision do you have as vice president of your class office?
I plan on leading the class by, I'm so sorry, but the vision that I have as vice president is being vice president is not only performing and showing everyone what you do, but also working properly behind the scenes. And so to do that, I'm going to do my best by making deadlines very clear so that we can be organized. And honestly, I feel like that's the most that you can do is be organized so that once it's time to perform and do everything that you have been working for, it will be perfect.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is for our secretary candidates. How do you plan to take meeting minutes? How will you make sure to keep your class organized? Anyone can go.
This year I'd say for meeting minutes, I'd take notes on my computer, first of all, having any like digital way on taking notes. I used a lot of Google Doc that kept me organized, as well as my notes. I'd like title them and write anything we had to do down, as well as copy what I see other people write. And because honestly, meeting minutes are really important because it's what you look back at to see, oh, these are deadlines. This is what I need. Oh, is this wrong? Maybe I could communicate to the person like, oh, I think this might be what we have to do. And yeah, mainly that communicating a lot just to keep us all organized. And if we have questions, like not keeping them in, but just making sure we let it all out just to understand one another.
Okay, thank you. And Katrina, can you read the next one?
Okay, this is the other second. Wait, how about Vincent?
I forgot. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's go back to the other question.
Okay. Yeah, Vincent, can you please answer the question?
For both, right?
This is for treasurer. Can you go back?
Hold on. It's not letting me.
Okay, fine. Well, the question was something about meeting minutes, right?
Yeah. So how will you do meeting minutes and how will you be organized?
So I'm gonna emphasize certain words. I'm gonna use post-it notes or some type of other notes so that I'm gonna leave it to each other officer. Then I'll have them use and clarify anything that I had trouble taking notes with. Like for example, some type of long plan that they had, I'll ask them to write it down in the postcard, and later I'll take that as a note in case someone else has something in thought and they want to say something before they forget it. And I try to stay organized, keeping a calendar. I'll always stay like digitally and use certain types of tools, Google Docs, Google Sheets, other applications that was cater to a certain type of note taking depending on what's being said and who's saying it, and how if it's just a proposal or if it's something that's urgent, and
Okay.
I'll keep sure. Okay.
Time's up. Thank you. And last one, Katrina, can you ask this one?
What is your financial plans for your class? Any fundraisers in mind?
So generally, like, I want to raise enough money for us to have like a good prom venue and for us to be able to like spend things on like class competition stuff like for BOTC, like in our air band and like just general all class activities, things like that. For fundraisers, like as someone said earlier, like boba can be like kind of like not always the best idea, and I feel like we really need to start doing more unique things with our fundraisers and like do something to get people more involved. So I think something like that gets people to like socialize one another within our class and also just like generally like get people out. And I think that we could do that by like collabing with like popular clubs and like just getting like people to like share their ideas for like things that they want to see and things that they would actually like spend money on so that they can contribute to our class.
Okay, thank you. And that concludes the class office forums for senior class. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, we can just end it here because we also have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Okay, we're all good.